Welcome back. The biggest political crisis in over a decade hitting the Middle East this week. 5 Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia and Egypt, formally announcing that they will end all relationship, cut ties with their neighboring country, Qatar, over the claims that Qatar is supporting terrorism and terrorist groups. The move has investors on edge as well, fearing that the rift could seriously damage the oil market and Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, now at $340 billion. Of course, that fund is invested in a whole host of global companies right now. Egyptian billionaire businessman and developer Naguib Sawiris says this had to be done, and he wants all Arab businessmen like himself to divest from Qatar. Take your money out of the country. Naguib Sawiris joins me right now. Good to see you, Naguib. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
This is a huge story. Tell us why you are advising your colleagues in business to take their money out of Qatar right now.
Well, I'm not just advising them to take their money out of Qatar. I'm advising them not to deal with Qatar, because we are all watching. Every day we wake up hearing a lunatic that or a savage person that goes with the car and kills innocent people, or like in my own country, they stopped a bus with children and women, shot them, and shot the men in front of the eyes of the women. And every day we hear all these incidents, and nobody's doing anything against it. And we need to come to the bottom of that. And the one country that declares openly that it is supporting terror organizations like Hamas or other organizations, that is siding with Iran openly, that all intelligence services of the world have all materials showing that they're supporting all the terrorist and extremist groups in the Middle East, from Libya, in Syria, in Iraq, and everywhere. And nobody's doing anything because they are the richest country in the world because of their oil situation and oil and gas and all that. So that's just what happened last week is a wake-up call for Qatar and its leaders. The other Gulf countries, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Bahrain, Yemen, the Emirates, all of them woke up now and said, no, enough is enough. You need to stop doing that because if you play with the fire, it will eat you up,
Yeah.
So as a businessman, I also want to do my contribution. We can't just stay like that and watch them continue doing that, continue witnessing lives going down in Manchester, in London, in Paris, and everywhere, and nobody's doing a damn thing to stop this.
Now, how do we know that the Qataris are, in fact, supporting terrorism, Naguib? Remember, this is the richest country in the world. They are exporting liquefied natural gas to the world, and the U.S. has their main military base in Qatar. So
does also the Muslim Brotherhood. They reside there. All the Muslim Brotherhood leadership that fled from Egypt and all went to Qatar. They reside there. All the sheikhs that entice and sanction terrorism and convince young people that if they go and blow up some people that they'll go to heaven, reside there. They openly support Hamas and they openly side with Iran. It's not a secret. And all the intelligence services have enough material that show money in cash that has been delivered to these people and all sides of support, The reason why isn't anybody coming up with all these evidences? Because of exactly what you're saying, because they're the richest, the this and the strongest, and the oil reserves and all that.
Right.
But I as a person, I don't give a damn about that,
What do you want to see from Qatar in order to reverse your position here?
I want to see them going out right there and stop hosting terrorists in their countries. I want them to declare that first they need to say the truth. They need to come straight and say, yes, we did that in the past for whatever reasons they can say, but that they are going to stop doing that because they have blood on their hands. They have blood on their hands. Why is Qatar the only country in the world that no single incident of terrorism happened there? Why?
What happens to that sovereign wealth fund? Is this going to, what I'm really asking, is this going to have a market impact? Is this going to impact more than just relations with its friends in the Middle East?
It depends if they were wise investors, whatever they have to divest. I don't think they'll divest from their investments because, I mean, they're free to invest, and countries like Germany or Deutsche Bank or whatever it takes their investments will also take their money. Some people don't give a damn about what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything will happen, and if they sell out, someone else will buy their stakes. You know, it's not like they're the only ones with money, you know.
Absolutely. Let me get your take, Naguib, on what also took place this past week, and that is the British election, that snap election where the Conservatives lost the majority that they had in Parliament. Your thoughts on implications coming out of Britain this week?
No, first of all, there was no need of this election. She said in the beginning she's not going to call for it. She called for it. It was a wrong move, not necessary. Her position on Brexit, instead of telling the people of the UK, we need to take that in the easy way. Brexit is a bad idea. I respect the vote, but the vote was a slim vote. It's 51 against 49. This doesn't really make it an absolute vote. In my personal opinion, exiting Europe for Britain was a disaster and will continue to be a disaster. I believe that the British people, when they voted for Brexit, they didn't even know what they're voting for because they don't have the small print. What is this means, exiting Europe? What is it going to cost them at the end? How are they going to deal with all the consequences of this exit? I don't believe that they knew all of that. I believe if someone went out and explained everything to them and we would have the vote today, most of them would not vote for that exit. Now, what I believe is going to happen in Britain now, she's going to continue ruling with a slim majority if she does the coalition. If she doesn't, we're in a big mess because also on the other hand, nobody believes or likes the head of the Labour Party right now. Everybody thinks he's an extremist, so we're in a real mess now.
One of the issues, of course, has been terrorism, just like we started the conversation on. And you had made a suggestion or an opportunity recently that you said you wanted to buy an island and put the refugees there. One of the issues is the refugees and these open borders throughout Europe. Are you still interested in doing that?
No, I never say something that I actually don't do or not achieve. This is the first time I fail in something, and the failure is due to the refusal of the Greek government to allow me to put the refugees on islands that I would buy. You know, I met the Prime Minister, and he was first quite encouraging, and then in the end he said our islands are not for sale, and we were not helpful at all. Although I think till now, I think this is one of the best solutions because it's not far from their homeland. The refugees would have went onto these islands, they would be secure, they would have built their houses and their businesses and stayed on these islands until they can go home, you know. All what I needed from the Greek government is the security and border admissions, you know, and the security. That's all what I needed. I would have done the rest, you know.